Today we're driving the 2026 Subaru Solterra. This is a top trim touring XT. The Solterra starts at about $39,000, just shy of 40 grand. This touring XT is $47,000. Subaru and Toyota have updated the BZ and the Solterra for 2026. They've given it quite a bit more range, a NACS charge port over on the passenger side, so now you can charge at Tesla stations. We have a slightly larger battery pack here, 75 kilowatt hours, and this touring XT has 338 horsepower, which is quite good. It'll do 278 miles on a full charge. Let's walk you guys around this new Subaru Solterra. We'll talk about what it's been like to live with this week, and we'll head out on the street and give you guys some driving impressions. First impressions with this interior are quite good. I like the fabric, I like the materials here. There's lots of leather. Of course, for $47,000, it better be nice. And here we do have a Harman Kardon sound system, which sounds quite good. Auto up-down windows and all four corners, 2-seat memory settings, lots of Toyota switchgear. We can see the navigation, the infotainment is all from Toyota, some similarities there. Dual wireless chargers. This Solterra is painted in Midnight Tide Mica, which looks quite good. Front end has been redesigned. Illuminated Subaru logo there. Here's the NACS Tesla charge port. This will fast charge at 150 kilowatts now instead of 100 kilowatts, which is what it did previously. And there's also an 11.1 kilowatt onboard charger. It would have been nice for Subaru and Toyota to put a J1772 port or something on the driver's side, just to have some differentiation or some other options as we're in this transitionary phase between charging infrastructure, charge cables. We were just in the Nissan Leaf, and instead of using adapters, that was a good solution they came up with. Good size storage in this Solterra. There's a lot of space in the back here, some more underfloor storage down here too. I hope they have an adapter in here this week, because otherwise I won't be able to charge it at home. Oh yeah, they've got lots of adapters. Very nice. Cargo cover, seats fold flat. You just have to do this. That's fine. A lot of space in the back of this Solterra. Got two buttons on the tailgate here, one to lock and close and one to just close. The thing I like about the Subaru Solterra is that it incorporates Subaru's X-Mode all-wheel drive system, and it has a little bit more ground clearance than some of the other EVs in this class, giving it, I guess, a little bit more off-road capability. If you need to go camping or take it out on the trail, you probably could with this Solterra EV. It's also got a neat little spoiler situation up here. This Touring XT is riding on a set of Yokohama Geolandar tires, 235/50 R20s. Again, top trims see larger wheels, they see less range, less sidewall. It would be nice if we could still get a smaller wheel and a little bit bigger of a tire here, save some range, and I know it looks better, it looks a bit more premium with these larger wheels, but you are sacrificing some range and off-road capability with these. Back seats. Floor's a little bit higher than you would expect to accommodate that battery pack, but it's flat, and I have a ton of legroom back here. Front seat is lowered all the way, so I can't really fit my feet under there, but I have a good amount of headroom, and I'm pretty comfortable on the back of this. Materials all feel really nice. Got heated rear seats, two USB-C ports, vents. Here's a look at the front seating area. Nice big open area, lots of good visibility in this cabin. Super easy to get in and out of too. No front trunk, just some running gear, electric motor, all that good stuff. This is dual motor, all-wheel drive, of course. The Solterra only comes as an all-wheel drive EV. I think it looks pretty good. Some subtle changes and enhancements for 2026, but the big news is just the running gear here. More capacity, more power, more range, and the NACS port are the big news items. When you first sit in the Solterra and the Toyota BZ, This steering wheel gauge layout kind of throws you for a bit of a loop. It's a bit strange, takes some getting used to, but once you figure out your driving position, it works. You're always just kind of straining a little bit to see over the steering wheel. There's a balance between having clearance for your legs and for your wheel, but I like the shape of it. It's kind of funky, it's kind of cool. It looks a little bit like those early Toyota Priuses. I think it's okay. Infotainment has worked well for me this week. CarPlay connectivity is wireless. That's been all right. And we've got native Google Maps navigation here. Very simple settings, a climate menu. Wouldn't mind more physical controls, but at least you get constant icons for all of your climate control here. Heated, ventilated seats, a heated steering wheel, one of 2 settings for that. That's nice. Volume knob. And then down here you've got your shifter, which you push down and rotate to the right or to the left for drive or reverse. And then you've got a bunch of different drive modes as well. So we can do power, eco, normal, and then there's X mode, all-wheel drive. There we go. Deep snow, mud, snow, dirt. Deep snow, mud will turn off via C. CarPlay connectivity is responsive, connects pretty reliably, at least it has for me this week. You can slightly expand your screen, have some quick access icons on the left, or just have full CarPlay. Surprisingly lightweight, this Subaru Solterra, at least for an EV, only weighs about 4,500 pounds, which is about 500 pounds less than the Mach-E, for example. So I appreciate Subaru and Toyota engineering this to be a little bit lighter. That could be down to battery capacity, just a little bit less capacity here, less size, less mass. But it seems to be a little bit lighter than a lot of the other EVs in this class. Let's go take it for a drive, see how it feels on the road, and we'll give you guys some driving impressions. Honestly, spending time in this week, I think Toyota and Subaru have pretty much ironed out all of the major complaints and issues I had with the 2025 and prior BZ4X and Solterra. They've pretty much figured everything out. There's nothing that's class leading here, but at least I think it's a competitive option. Depreciation is still going to be a significant factor for those buying this, but you might be able to find some pretty good lease deals. Couple-year-old Solterras with only a few thousand miles, I'm seeing listed for $25,000 to $30,000 on the used market. How does it drive? Steering, nice weight, awesome visibility. Look at this turning circle, it's ridiculously tight. That wheel just keeps going and going. Yeah, that's awesome. It's quick now. All-wheel drive, 338 horsepower. It pulls. You have paddle shifters behind the wheel that control your levels of regenerative braking. So the first level is just coast. So you can choose between no regen, first level of regen, second level of regen, and then beyond the second level, the brake lights will actually turn on, and you can see that right there on the gauge display. So that's kind of good to know. This Solterra employs all of Toyota's latest buttons for cruise control and steering wheel functions, stuff like that. You've got your volume control right here, track selection, following distance, engage cruise control right here, lane centering, all that stuff. It's all pretty intuitive once you kind of get comfortable with it, but after using it, you do get used to this button layout, but initially I wasn't as big of a fan of it, just because it's not as easy to use or intuitive as what we had before from Toyota. The Solterra now is quick, but all EVs are quick. Throttle tuning seems to be pretty well done. You cannot one-pedal drive this, but you can pretty much come to about a 5 or 6 mile an hour coast with regen. Brake pedal tuning feels very natural, very normal. Let's switch into power mode, and we'll give this F-150 a little bit of time to get up ahead of us. A little bit more responsive in power mode, and really nice mechanical grip here from these Yokohama Geolanders. Lots of warning messages, lots of beeping, bonging in this. Essentially, this is a Toyota, and that's something that we have to deal with Toyotas. The adaptive cruise control driving assistance features work quite well. Closest following distance is pretty close. You've got one of 4 different settings there. And then a couple different gauge options here, so you can see your average miles per kilowatt hour, your audio, your battery status, a couple different pages there. That's nice. Pretty quiet at speed. No major rattles in this week. I had a little bit of buzzing from this up here, but that seems to have worked itself out. No shortage of passing power here, even on the highway. You get a digital rear view mirror, which probably isn't necessary in this, just because you have such good visibility out of the back, but it does give you a little bit wider of a view. It is a lower camera mounted position though, so you're kind of in people's headlights sometimes. I'm a little bit torn, honestly, between using the digital rear view and just the natural rear view mirror in this Solterra. Seats are comfortable, ride quality is good. It feels just like a regular old car that happens to be electric. No snags, no hiccups, no weirdness. Everything in here is very Toyota. The only inkling that you might get, this is a Subaru beyond the badge, is this X mode button. That said, though, it is nice to see Toyota and Subaru collaborating on an EV. Ultimately, I think this is probably what Subaru and Toyota should have come out with initially. Something with these specs, with this capability, with kind of, this level of refinement. It does everything well. I think the idea of an EV from Toyota and from Subaru does appeal to a lot of loyal customers of those brands. And it's nice that they offer something that's actually competitive now, which is good. All right, full regen here. Brakes are turning on, coming down from speed. It's not super strong. I've just been leaving it on level 1 or level 2 all week. It'll default when you start up the vehicle to level 1. Traction control light flashing there. Getting up to 60 miles an hour in no time now. Huge front windscreen in this Solterra. It is a pretty easy EV to use, operate, live with. It's a good size too. The packaging is quite nice. There's a lot of room inside. Storage is good. It has good range. I mean, I don't really have a ton of complaints about this, whereas with the BZ4X and the previous gen Solterra, there were some major snags, namely just range. The rectangular steering wheel does throw me off sometimes, but again, it is kind of cool, I think. It's something different. I like that Subaru and Toyota have retained most of their physical controls, aside from climate, in this. Let's take it through a couple corners here. Stability control is a little bit conservative, but that's okay. It handles quite well, honestly. Low center of mass definitely helps with that. It doesn't feel as heavy or cumbersome as some other EVs on the market. that curb weight, 4,500 pound curb weight is probably a factor in that. All right, guys, there's the Subaru Solterra. That's pretty much all I've got to say about this. It's definitely a big improvement from the 2025 and prior model years. It's nice to see a Tesla charge port on this that helps with road trip ability. Fast charging isn't revolutionary, but it'll get the job done. And I think this is a perfectly fine electric vehicle. Feel a little bit of torque vectoring going on there at the limit. I assume this would probably handle pretty well in the snow between the low center of gravity, the even weight distribution from the battery pack, and the stability control system, along with Subaru's all-wheel drive tuning. And I like that this has just a little bit more ground clearance here. I believe it's something like 8.4 inches or 8.5 inches, thereabout. I'll put the exact number in the description, but it is more than a lot of other EVs in the class, which tend to be on the order of like 6.5, 7 inches. I don't even think the Ford Mach-E is above 7 inches of ground clearance. What happens if you turn some things off? Traction control turned off, stability control turned off. Okay. Yeah, it has no idea where to set power. That's all right. Not a sporting EV, but I think definitely quick enough for most people's use. The base model sees a little bit of a horsepower bump. I don't know exact figures, like 230 horsepower or something like that. Even with 230 horsepower or thereabouts, perfectly acceptable power level. Because again, in an EV, you're getting all that power all at once. All right, we'll walk you guys around this one more time. And that will be a wrap on this video of the new 2026 Subaru Solterra. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys in the next video. Turning radius on this is just wild. That's very impressive. Oops. Your key. Kind of from the back looks like a slightly lower slung RAV4. The front and side profile a little bit similar to the Highlander. We had this parked next to our Highlander on our driveway this week, and maybe it's just the color that's very similar, but it's a decent looking EV. Nothing too disagreeable about it.